Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, dear students. This is Miss Layla Al-Jihani. Inshallah, today we will continue our lesson. Today we will cover our unit. Today we will cover lesson 4, language in context. If we want to remember what we covered in our previous lesson, we covered the grammar. In our grammar, we took 3 parts. The first part covers the present perfect and the past, the difference between the present perfect and the past simple tense. What is the difference? Can you remember? In the present perfect, do we have a specific time? Is it mentioned the specific time? No. Excellent. We don't, it's not specified. With the past tense, we know when did the action happen. Is it yesterday, last summer, last month, last Monday? So we have a specific time. Another difference with the present perfect, we have and verb 3, and with the past we have a verb in the past tense. Okay. Also, we covered the present perfect with for and since. We use when we have for and since, we use the present perfect with it. We don't use the past. The difference between for and since: for, we have a time. For since yesterday. Since we have a specific time, since yesterday, since last June, and with for, we have a duration, like for 2 months, for a year, for a long time, for an hour. Also, we covered questions with how long, okay? We formed questions, we practiced a conversation, and we answered using for and since. Inshallah, today we will continue doing the same in language and context in our lesson. So we will be using and practicing what we covered in our grammar, okay? We will use the present perfect. We will use for and since in writing statements, okay? So by the end of our lesson today, you will be able to use the present perfect tense in a meaningful statements, okay? Use for and since with the present perfect. So you will use for and since in the present perfect, as we said. Before we start, I gave you a homework, page 118 and 119. If you haven't done the homework, please go back, pause the video, go back to your homework and start practicing. It will be really helpful in our lesson today because it's a continue of our the grammar we covered in our lesson. Complete the conversation, use simple past. So here he wants you to use simple past. Very easy, okay? So this is the exercise, okay? Let's see the answers. Muna, when did you arrive at school this morning? Sabah, I arrived at school at 8 o'clock. Number 2, Ahmed, where did Yahya eat lunch yesterday? We have a specific time, this morning, yesterday. That's why we use the simple past. He ate lunch at the mall. Sultan, what time did Imad call you last night? Fahad, Imad called me at 10:30 p.m. Okay. For Amina, when did Noura and you finish your homework yesterday? Fadwa, we finished our homework just before dinner. Okay. Asma, who passed the history test last week? Specific time. Nawal, no one passed the test. Jabir, when were you at the park? Ismail, I was at the park yesterday during the football game. Okay? So in all the answers, we use the past, simple past, because we have a specific time, yesterday, last week, okay? Exercise C, write a complete sentences, but in this exercise, we are using the present perfect. We're not using the past, we're using the present perfect. How do we form the present perfect? Has or have plus verb 3, right? With he and she, we use has. With the other pronouns, we use have. An example here, I see the Great Wall. I've seen. The verb 3 from see is seen the Great Wall. We have these exercises. If you haven't done it, pause the video and do it. Let's see the answers together. Number 1, my brother played tennis in the new park. My brother, because brother is a he, has played tennis in the new park. 2, Saeed tried to learn French. Saeed has tried to learn French. 3, we have gone camping in the mountains. 4, my parents have eaten at the Indian restaurant by the bookstore. Okay, this is the 4 statements. In exercise D, write questions for the statements in C. So we have these statements. We have to write questions related to these statements. Okay? Yalla, let's see it together, the answers. Has your brother played tennis in the new park? This is the first one. Has Saeed tried to learn French? Have you gone camping in the mountains? Have your parents eating at the Indian restaurant by the bookstore? These are 4 statements related to the 4 statements in exercise C. E, complete the paragraph with the verbs in parentheses. So we have to look at the verbs between brackets, okay? Use the present perfect or the simple past. Here, they didn't tell you which tense you're going to use. You have to read the statements to think and check. If there is a time, you will use the past simple. If you can't see a time, a specific time, it's an experience, then you use the present perfect, okay? Let's see the answers together. My uncle has made a lot of inventions. They didn't mention time. That's why we use the present perfect. Some of his inventions have worked, and others have not been very successful. When I was 12 years old, I walked to school every day. That year, my uncle gave me, we have a year, when I'm 12 years old, okay? These are specific times. That's why we use the past. That year, my uncle gave me one of his new inventions, a hat with an umbrella. He called it his hat umbrella. Was it one of his successful inventions? Let's just say that we haven't talked about it in years, which means, is it successful or not? No, it wasn't very successful. That's why they didn't invest in it and they didn't talk about it, okay? Well, that's not completely true. Last year, my uncle wore one of his hat umbrellas to my graduation. It was really funny. And after dinner, he gave it to me. I think I'm the only person in the world who has received 2 hat umbrellas as gifts, okay? Now, I believe this is the last exercise. F, complete each sentence with for and since. Here, we're focusing on for and since. If you have a duration, you will use for. If you have a specific time, then you will use since, okay? If you haven't done it, pause the video and do it, please. Now, let's see the answers together. Number 1, Robert got sick 2 days ago. He has been sick for 2 days. This is a duration, okay? Daniel got his new car 3 weeks ago. He has had his new car for 3 weeks. A duration also we use for. Carlos started to play tennis in 2006. He has played tennis since 2006. Specific time, that's why we use since. My brother last spoke to his friend 2 hours ago. He hasn't spoken to him for 2 hours. Duration, we use 4. The last one, 5. My uncle moved to New York City in 2007. He has lived in New York City since 2007. There is a specific time, specific year. That's why we use since here. Okay? Now let's look at page 52. Look at this picture. What can you see? The picture in front of you. You see what? Mountains. Excellent. You see also a man. What do you think the man is doing? He is climbing the mountain. Yes, he is trying to climb the mountain. We call it rock climbing. Okay? Have you ever tried to do the same? Have you ever tried rock climbing? Yes? No, you didn't? Is it really a big mountain? Did you use ropes? No? Just a small one when you're young? Okay. So look at your book's language and context. Discuss these topics with a partner. Okay, we have 3 topics. 1, 2, 3. We have 3. We will discuss it with a partner. Okay, so you have to have a partner with you. You will be in pairs. Okay, and you have to talk about these 3 topics. This is a speaking exercise. You don't need to write anything down. This is just a practice of what we covered in our previous units, okay? Lessons. The first topic you will cover things you have done. Things you have done or haven't done for months, for years, for ages. Tell me something you have or haven't done for years. I haven't played with my neighbors for years. Okay, this is something I used to do long time ago. Okay, طيب, another topic, the other topic, things you have done or haven't done since you were small. It's related to what we said also last year or the age of 10. Tell me something you did before when you are young. Now you and tell me the experience. Tell me what did you do or something you didn't do. Okay, like for example, I haven't eaten sushi. This is something I haven't done before, even when I was young. Okay, this is I'm telling you about my experience. Things you've never done ever in your life. Okay, here the same one. I haven't eaten sushi since I was 10. Okay, I tried it, I didn't like it, so I don't eat it anymore. Okay, but something you have never done in your life. I haven't seen the snow. This is something I haven't done before. Okay, I haven't seen the snow in real life, not in pictures, not in movies, in real life. I'm talking about real life, your experience. Okay, we have an example in your book here. I haven't been rock climbing in a long time. Here they are referring to the picture you can see on your book next to the text. Or I've never been rock climbing. I have never been rock climbing. Notice here I haven't been or I have never been. Never here, it replaces not. Both of these statements refer to a negative, something you haven't done before. Okay, so you can say I haven't been or I have never been. Both mean the same. Okay, let's look at these 2 pictures here. Have you ever, what are they doing here? Let's look at the first one. Have you ever played tennis? Have you ever played tennis? Can you write a sentence telling me whether yes you did and tell me it's in a full statement? This is just a practice. You have to write statements, okay? Like you can say, I have never played tennis, or I haven't been playing tennis since I was 10 years old. Okay? Write statements, ask each other these questions. Okay? What about here? The boy is surfing. He is surfing. Okay? Have you ever been surfing in your life? Have you? No? Then you can say, I have never been surfing. Okay? The last picture here we have, they are boys and girls. They are swimming. Excellent. They are swimming. Okay? Ask yourself, have you ever been swimming before? Or have you ever been swimming in the ocean? Have you ever been swimming in the sea? Okay? Ask each other different questions. Maybe some of you did swim in a sea and another in an ocean, or neither. You haven't done any of these, okay? We have 3 other pictures. Have you ever planted a tree? Have you ever done this? Ask each other these questions and write statements related to it. What about this sushi? We have a picture of sushi. Have you ever eaten sushi before? Have you ever seen the snow before? You can say, I haven't seen the snow since I was 7. I have never seen the snow before. Okay. Here we have more 2 pictures. We have these. They are what? They are bowling. They are bowling, right? Okay, so have you ever been bowling with your friends? Yes or no? Have you ever been to Mecca? Yes or no? Okay. Here I wrote a statement related to every picture. Okay, for the first picture, I have never played tennis. For the second one, or you can say, I have played tennis before. Okay. You don't have to follow the same, okay? You can write it based on you, okay? I have never been surfing, or I have been surfing. Both correct. I have been swimming many times before, or you can say, I have never been swimming, okay? Both is correct. For these 3 pictures, I have planted a tree, or I have never planted a tree, or I haven't planted a tree. All are correct. I have never eaten sushi, or I have eaten sushi before. The last one here, I have seen the snow, or I have never seen the snow. Write the statements based on your experience, okay? Based on your life since you were a child. The last 3 pictures, I have never been bowling, okay? Or I have been bowling before with my friends. I have been to Mecca, or I have never been to Mecca. Both are correct. Now, he said discuss these questions. You can pause the video now and think about things you have done, things that you haven't done before for years, since you were a child, since you were 10, you were 7, and things you have never done before, okay? This is a speaking exercise, so you have to have a conversation with your partner. I have here another exercise. Here we have a picture of a girl. What do you think her name is? Dana. Okay, her name is Dana. Dana, she's thinking about things she has done and things she has never done in her life. Okay. Dana, do you think she went to Mecca before? Yes. And here, because we have the X here, she didn't try sushi. صح؟ طيب, how can we write sentences using the present perfect to write the statements? Think about it, write it down, and then let's see the answers together. Okay, for the first one here, for the first one here, something she didn't do. Okay, Dana has never eaten sushi since last year or for years. Okay, try when you write your statement to use for and since, because it's part of our grammar and we have to practice using it. Okay, she has visited Mecca. Okay, this is something she done before. Another picture here, this is a girl, her name is Sarah. This is something she did or she didn't do before. She didn't do. And this is something she did. Okay, pause the video and write down statements. Write down your sentences. Okay, let's see it. Sarah has never played tennis. She has been swimming for several times. For. Okay, I used for here. What about this one, this boy? His name is Muhammad. This is something he did. This is something he didn't. Write the statements. Use he, has with he. We can say we use has with it, okay? He has seen or hasn't seen, hasn't or has never seen, okay? Both are correct. What about here? With planting trees, planting a tree. He has planted a tree for 3 years. He has never seen the snow. This is something he hasn't done before. And the last one here we have Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman, what about rock climbing? Did he do it? No, he didn't. And riding a bike, he did. Write down the statements. Let's see it together. He has rode a bicycle. He has rode a bicycle since 2010. He started doing that since that year. He has never been rock climbing. This is something he has never done before. Okay? So for your homework, please do page 120 on your workbook. If we want to recall what we covered in our lesson today. In our lesson, we used and asked questions in a conversation with our partner. We asked questions about our experiences. Asking them questions, when we answer, we use the present perfect, we use for, and we use since. We're talking about things we did before in our life, things we haven't done before in our life. Also, we use for and since. For, we use it with duration, since with a specific time. That's it for today. Thank you for listening, and inshallah I will see you next class.